What up, what up, what up? It's the Nerve of You podcast, man, coming at you live on a lovely Tuesday evening. Shout out to everybody out there that's watching, man. We about to get cooking up in the spot. Only thing I need for y'all to do, man, on your way in, this is a live podcast, man. If you like what you hear, hit the like button, man. I'm sitting here. I got my lovely, beautiful co-host that I love to do the most, man. We got Rose in the building, y'all.
Hello, everyone.
And we got a real hot topic, man. But before we even get into the topic, I took a lot of heat on the last podcast. A lot of people didn't like my comments. You know, I said a few things about R. Kelly. You know, I said a few things about these young women taking accountability for who they date. But most of all, a lot of people didn't like what I said about Aaliyah. That was a very controversial clip that I put up. You know, I had people on my Instagram, like different people on my Instagram threatening me, threatening my family. I mean, it's all good. I understand Aaliyah is a national treasure. I like Aaliyah. I like her music, but I had to keep it real for a second and just spill out the truth. Like, okay, if we're going to hold R. Kelly culpable, which I don't mind doing, what about Aaliyah? The bodyguard got online for Aaliyah and said she used to sneak out the window to go to Florida to see R. Kelly. So I'm not supposed to say the truth. I'm not supposed to keep it real. This is coming from the body. And a lot of people don't want to hear the truth about who they like. And I'm like, look, man, I get it. But, you know, when you walk down that dark alley, you got to face the consequences.
That's true.
So, you know, I understand we want to victimize Aaliyah and everything. I like Aaliyah, but she got to take accountability too. Well, she, you know, rest in peace, but accountability is for everyone. Accountability is for men, it's for women, and children of age. But
alive and dead.
I mean, it just is what it is, man. So a lot of people ain't really like that, man. I don't really give a damn, but I just wanted to address it like, yo, don't come at me like, you know, Full Metal Jacket. You know what I'm saying? I ain't do nothing to y'all, man. I just kept it a buck for a second.
Right.
And it really leads us to this podcast we got today. You know, this effery. It really came across my desk last week, and I meant to get to it. You know, but I was busy. I was out of town handling some more important business, but I'm back in town, and I'm ready. I'm well rested. You dig? I got my ginger shot up in me, so it's time for me to get lit.
You back and you better?
Back and I'm better, baby. So, this effery, we got a 63-year-old pastor. And somebody sent this to me on Instagram. Shout out to you. You know who you are if you're watching. 63-year-old pastor marries an 18-year-old girl that was actually in his congregation. Like, she was in the church going to, like, Bible studies and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And I had to look at this thing many different ways. I'm like, all right, how do I want to attack this? You know what I mean? Is he a predator? Is he a pimp? Or is he a righteous pastor? I don't know what to say about it. Yo, man, let's keep it real. What do a 63-year-old man have in common with an 18-year-old girl? And I got to put this out there.
Yeah.
He probably started grooming her when she was about 16.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure he didn't meet her on her 18th birthday.
That's true.
I'm sure his timing wasn't that perfect. Come on, dog. What's going on? You 63-year-old. Yo, man, you 63, Jack. Nigga, you old. He old. I mean, what? Yo, man, do you know how many people in his congregation probably looking at him sideways? This is how you lose your whole church and your congregation, by doing dumb-ish. You dig? So the question, ladies and gentlemen, everybody that's watching out there, how young is too young? Like, you want to speak on that?
Yeah, I think that's really terrible, especially when you made that point about when did he meet her? You know, when did he start being sexually involved with her? And chances are, 16, 17. So that is clearly wrong. But I think too young is, 18 to like 21, around that area. That's like the gray area of she's mentally not right or grown. And if she's, I guess, age gap dating, probably 20 to 40 years. I think that's a little lopsided.
The nerve. I mean, look, man. Let's keep it a buck. Let's keep it real, man. Any man that's watching this podcast, any man that's listening to the sound of my voice, if you got an 18-year-old daughter,
yeah,
and a 63-year-old man comes to your house to meet you, you going to jail. I mean, I know a lot of dudes, because here's what a lot of dudes online do. A lot of dudes online, they don't want women over 30 because they talk about the wall and all that. But they not keeping it real. This is why I don't entertain these conversations with those people. I don't. Because they know damn well if a 63-year-old man come to pick up or even meet his 18-year-old daughter, I don't think that visit is going to go too well. Mm-hmm. Now, we understand the times that we live in. A lot of these young girls, they don't have a father. The father is missing or he's absent, he's just not there or whatever the case. So a lot of dudes can bypass the father. See, when the father is either in the house or active in a kid's life or even a stepdad or something, that is the predator repellent. Because at some point, a young woman understand, I got to bring this man home to meet my father. Now, if the father is any type of man, alpha male, leader, he putting foot to ass. And everybody getting it. I don't see any competent father that truly, hey, what up, J-Dub, care about his kids would even allow something like that. And that's why I can't entertain that, because I'm a man with 2 daughters. Okay, you want to date an older dude, fair enough, but it's levels.
Right.
And what the father does, the father can expect another man upon arrival. This is why the father is so essential. So when the father meets a man or a young man that's dating his daughter, he gonna size him up. He gonna take him out back and talk to him. Like, let me holler at you. It could be the prom date, her first date, a skating date, a picnic date, or y'all gonna sit on the porch and talk. But the father is gonna inspect the young man or the man. Like, let me holler at you.
Like the Players Club with Jamie Foxx.
I remember that scene.
Yeah.
So when a father talks to a man that's trying to take out his daughter, he want to know 3 things off top. 3 things off top. He want to know, can you provide for my daughter? Will you protect my daughter? And are you a man of your word? Those are the 3 essential things at first. Can you provide? Can you protect? And are you a man of your word? And then you got to have another conversation. Like, all right, if you don't have good intentions for my child, let it be known. See, a real father gonna speak his mind. Like, look, dog, I don't even like your energy. I don't like the way you knocked on my door. I don't like the clothes you got on. I don't like your silly haircut. You know what? Come back and try again when you got your stuff together. See, the father is the predator repellent. And we don't want to talk about this a lot in a lot of conversations, because people understand that when the father is around, when the father is there, the father going to check the daughter. Like, look, I love you, sweetheart. I know you want to live your life, but I'm here to keep you away from trouble. I mean, parents in general, but especially the father. But if a 63-year-old man was to try to meet me, talking about he want to marry or date my daughter, We doing this podcast from a plexiglass. Facts. I'm gonna be sitting behind bars in my striped suit. I'm gonna have my Muslim kufi on, because you know it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? I confess that there's only one God. So at the end of the day, I'm gonna sit up in jail with my glasses on, inshallah, Tali, and we're gonna do this podcast from there, because that 63-year-old man, he gonna have a broken hip, a broken jaw. He gonna have a shoe in his ass, preferably a Timberland, some beef and Brocs, and I'm going in on this nigga. Period.
As you should.
As I should. For real. I'm giving everybody work, man. I'm giving him work, the daughter work, the mother, the other siblings, the dog. Everybody. I'm flipping the fish tank on this nigga, man. This a Snapple top fact, dog. I mean, any father that's worth any 2 cents is not even going to allow his 18. Yo, man, do you know what I was? Well, when I was 18, I was overseas serving my country, but I still remember at 18 years old, I was so young, dumb, foolish. I thought I knew everything. I thought I was grown. You know how many stupid mistakes I made when I was 18 that I look back like, wow.
Me too.
So I understand. If I'm just going to be honest, C Boogie at 18 didn't know jack. I might have had the edge over a couple dudes in my lane, but on our reality, you don't know nothing about the world at 18. Right. You don't even know yourself at 18. You don't know your body. You don't know your mind. You don't know what makes you tick. You don't know what lane you're supposed to drive in. You know what I mean? You don't know nothing about the world at 18. You trying to figure yourself out.
Right.
So for me to think that an 18-year-old girl has a developed mind to make that type of decision with a 63-year-old man, there's something wrong with her too. It's something wrong with her too, man. And then he's the pastor. Oh, hell nah. We wouldn't be having service that Sunday. But no, real talk, man. When this came across my desk, I was just befuddled, beloved, because I just ain't really know what to say about it. I'm like, you know what? Maybe back in the day they used to do this, because a lot of dudes like to reference back in the day.
But this ain't back in the day.
This ain't back in the day.
This is 2022.
Back in the day, everybody was a little bit more mature. Back in the day, you know, I can make the case that men were just a little bit more righteous.
Right.
I can make the case that back in the day, a 16, 17, 18-year-old girl probably had the mind of a 27-year-old woman because of the responsibilities that was placed upon them very early.
And money was not that plentiful back then.
You see what I'm saying? But this is 2022, where it's nothing to meet a 25-year-old girl and she got the mind of a 16-year-old. Honestly.
That's true.
Like this ain't back in the day. Or dudes want to tell you what's going on in the Philippines or Vietnam. You know what I mean? You know, they want to talk about these older white men going over there and getting with these poor girls from Cambodia. As if they got a choice. Like, these girls, you know, they ain't have a bath in 4 days. Of course she gonna marry a rich white dude or a white dude with a pension. Are you serious?
Right.
She gonna take that AARP card, and she gonna take that little retirement he got, and she gonna live plentiful in Cambodia. But this ain't Cambodia, bruh. And I guarantee, if you give that same girl from Cambodia an opportunity to get educated, to educate herself, to get a job, to take a shower twice a day, to wash her hair with shampoo, to get her toes painted, I guarantee if you give that girl an opportunity, she wouldn't even be there. You know what I mean? She would go out and try to get the man that she want, not the man that she, you know, is obligated to get because of her circumstance, because she's desperate. You know what I mean? And these dudes be thinking they peas. These dudes be thinking they pimping. These dudes be thinking they players. When in our reality, you sleeping with a girl that's sleeping with you out of desperation. Eventually, she's going to be mad at you, dog. Eventually, she's going to grow to have a disdain for you as a man Because, hold on. Because she think about all those nights she had to do nasty, freaky deaky stuff with a man that she was repulsed by. She got to think about all those nights she had to listen to a man that she really lost respect for. Give about 10, 15 years and that animosity blows up. Why you think a lot of these divorces get so nasty, get so ugly? Because a lot of women, they had to sleep with dudes that they really didn't want to. And then, you know, over time, something happened in the marriage where they got disconnected. But she still had to perform her wifely duties. And over time, I've seen women go from being ecstatic about a man, respecting a man, to having a disdain and a real hatred for a man. You know what I mean? A lot of dudes don't even know that they doing themselves a disservice, man. Mm-hmm. And then they walk around with their chests out like they players.
That's true.
It's odd. Let me tell you something, Jones. Let me tell you something. You ain't no ladies, man. And I want y'all to really listen to me, Jack. Mm-hmm. You are not a ladies' man if all the women in your past hate you, got a disdain for you, don't like you, got a problem with you. That means you was doing some manipulation, some lying, promising stuff that you didn't deliver. Cheating, whatever. You know what I mean? But a true ladies' man, women love to be around him. Mm-hmm. Even if he mess up once or twice, a true ladies' man, you know what I mean, some time go by, like a woman to forgive that because she think about all the good things he brought to her life. See, a real ladies' man, a woman is not mad. You know what I'm saying? Like, you ain't got, 12, 15 exes that could do an interview and say they hate you.
Right.
You doing something wrong, pimpin'? Thanks for that $5. My bad. Thanks for that $2 super chat. Oh, Lord. You say Anna Nicole Smith, 18-year-old billionaire hubby, 91. We see what happened to Anna Nicole Smith. Mm-hmm. She started playing with her nose. Mm-hmm. Let's keep it a buck. And that's a good point. Anna Nicole Smith started playing with her nose. She was jacked up from the beginning. She couldn't even live that life without drugs and alcohol every day, and she eventually died. Rest in peace. Mm. So that's a good and bad example.
Right. That was a tragedy.
You know what I mean? So, yo, man, like, we gotta start keeping it real, man. A lot of these dudes, man, because that was one of the things, like, guys like Kevin Samuels and, other, I guess, hardcore red pill dudes. They was like, oh, I ain't gonna date no woman over 30. I ain't, you know what I'm saying? I want me a young woman. But my question is, how young is too young? How young is too young? No 18-year-old girl is excited about a 63-year-old dude sweating on top of her. It's not happening. Ain't happening, capping. These dudes is capping. That's how I feel. These dudes is capping.
Yeah, that's true.
What's going to happen when an 18-year-old girl grow up emotionally? She grow up mentally. She grow up spiritually. And she realize, because he ain't going to be 63 forever. One day he's going to be 73. Mm-hmm. And she realized, I got a nasty old man laying beside me. I got a nasty old man laying beside me.
Yeah.
What you think gonna happen, man? These dudes is faking, capping, and they acting like they players. I don't like it. I don't like it. How young is too young? That's my question. Because a lot of people think I'm anti young woman, older man. Nah, but it's levels.
Yeah.
Come on, man. We all know what this deal is. We all know it's levels, man.
Yeah, it's really men that do that they're like a tyrant, and it's like a tyrant slavery relationship instead of a negotiation relationship. And that's when the power is so one-sided that it's sad. The women are signing up for it. Who knows what happened? Who knows what older man groomed her when she was less than 10 years old? That's what we don't want to talk about when there's not dads in the house. girls are left open for anything, anybody. And when they grow up, they have a mentality, oh, I like older men. And it's sad, but we don't talk about the underworld of what's going on with her mentally.
We need fathers, man. Fathers got to implant good game and life lessons into their children.
Yeah.
Period. Period, man. So, look, you got this older nigga and this young girl, and optics alone look crazy. He not even a 63-year-old dude that look good.
Right.
He's an old. I mean, he got the George Jefferson hairline piece. He all gray.
Yeah.
Got on an old man suit. I could see if he was a 63-year-old dude that looked like Rick Fox. Mm-hmm. I might be like, all right, he's a handsome guy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because there's some dudes that get older, they just look good. Mm-hmm. You got the Silver Fox Squad on Instagram. I follow most of them. These are older men that they look good. None of them 63, I don't think, but they, late 40s, 50s, you know what I mean? They took care of themselves. So it's certain dudes I would look at like, okay, that's player. You know what I'm saying? You older but swaggy. You older but you're not out of step. You know what I mean? So it's more understandable. Like, all right, I can see if a little 25-year-old hopper lusting after. You know what I mean? Because they swaggy, they body's right, they took care of themselves. But come on, man, this guy is old, nigga. He old. Like, yo, man. Like, what kind of church he preach at? A Pentecostal? This nigga old. So that's my thing. Like, yo, it's just levels to this, man. We got to keep it a buck. So, look, man. Let me just go here real quick. It's the Never You podcast coming at you live on a lovely Tuesday night, man. I got the lovely co-host I love to do the most. We got Rose in the building, ladies and gentlemen.
Hey, everyone. I'm enjoying this show.
A lot of older dudes, right? They get older. Obviously, as we get older, we change. I mean, even myself, I'm only 34. I stay plucking little gray hairs out my beard or whatever. It's just inevitable. We get older, you lose your testosterone, your muscle mass start to deplete. You know what I mean? Your penis can't stay hard like it used to. I don't have that problem yet.
Not at all.
Indeed. But at the end of the day, a lot of these older dudes, man, they get older and they lose themselves. You know what I mean? That's why they came up with the term midlife crisis. So they'll go out, get a motorcycle, try to be hip. You know what I mean? Like, these the dudes that be up in the club with a damn Masonic ring on and a members only jacket or whatever. Those is them type of dudes. They don't know what to do with themselves. You know what I mean? They reached a certain age where they kind of lost in the sauce. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And they really can't find a lane. So they really want to get with a young woman. It's not about the relationship per se. They just want to feel good. They just want to know they still got it. And it's like a trophy. That's why when you hear some dudes talk about they women, the first thing they say is, oh, she half my age, or, you know what I mean? Or I'm dating a younger woman or whatever. Because they understand that that's kind of rare. It's not it's not the standard, so to speak. You dig what I'm saying? And I kind of peeped this about a lot of older cats, man. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, a lot of them lose themselves. And a lot of them truly don't know what to do. And so they get out here and make a damn fool of themselves. You know what I mean? Like, seriously. And it's really sad, man. You know what I mean? Thanks for that $2 super chat. If he was old white man, black women wouldn't trip. Thanks for that $2 super chat. I don't know, man. I would still trip. But at the end of the day, we just got to keep it a buck. A lot of niggas, man, got to stop with that shit because they don't even understand how stupid they look. You know what I mean? Just like we got this nigga, move to Thailand and call it a day. Dog, do you live in Thailand? You know what I'm saying? And I don't know if he said that negative or positive, but I'm like, man, stop with all this moving to Thailand, Cambodia stuff, man. You dudes are creeps, man.
And it's never moved to Africa. You know, they full of it, man.
Of course they're not gonna move to Africa with the foolishness, man. Them red hat chiefs go smack their face, smack their cheeks, man. Shout out to the red cap chief. You know what I mean? Like, real talk, these dudes ain't gonna go nowhere where there's some type of order where, you know, you gotta, you know, in Africa, in certain countries, you gotta meet the family. You gotta be like represented well. They gotta take you in.
Right.
You can't just be in Africa running around talking about I'm gonna look under a teepee hut. Nah, it don't work like that, man. Certain places, man, it's protocol. But you go to places like I say, Cambodia, Thailand, Singapore, Indonesia, Philippines. You go to some places where they dirt poor, then yeah, you can kind of get away with certain things. You know what I mean? White dudes been going to the Philippines since the United States had bases there, you know, back in the 50s, 40s, 60s, all that. You know what I mean? It never stopped. They've been exploiting these girls over there, turned them into straight hoes. The white man has turned this Asian woman into a hoe. I hope they don't take my video down for saying that. The white man has turned this Asian woman into a slut monkey in the Philippines.
They real submissive.
And they over there doing, you know, they over there with the he-she's.
Oh, the lady boy.
That's big in Thailand and stuff like that. Yeah. And they can't act like they ain't doing it because it's a thing called supply and demand. Mm-hmm. If they didn't want the little he-she's over there, then they wouldn't be out there in the street in Thailand and stuff like that. So these dudes be going over there. God damn, all right? These dudes be going over there getting into all kind of salacious activity on the low because they can get away with it in Thailand. You know, in certain African countries, they not playing that LGBTQ stuff. It's mad letters. But they not playing that.
Yeah. You
go to places like Liberia, I mean, like, they will really get you. I don't even want to say what they gonna do, but they gonna make you wish that you ain't get into that lifestyle.
Right.
You know what I mean? Let's keep it a whole brick. Certain countries, they not playing. Like Nigeria, it was a big mess with the LGBTQ ABCDE FG. You know what I mean? Like all that stuff, man. That was big over there. I don't know if it calmed down now. They got some type of order. I guess you can't stop it, but they was like persecuting people.
Yeah.
This was true story. I'm not making it up. Do your research, man. But I don't even know how we got there. But what I'm saying is, you can't. I mean, because you said why these dudes don't go to Africa.
Oh, yeah.
Well, they're not going to go. These dudes not going to go to certain countries where it's protocol and it's etiquette. I'm just going to be 100.
I don't think they want to face other black men. Trying to
let me tell you something about black men.
Entreat, or I forgot that word name. Never mind.
Let me tell you something about black men. Black men don't even like other black men. You know what I'm saying? Like, real talk. Black men don't even like other black men. Black men don't even respect manhood. They don't respect etiquette. A lot of black men don't respect protocol. They want to bypass it. And the thing is, they going to say, oh, the white man do it too. The white man has paid the cost to be the boss. If we going to be for real. If we going to keep it all the way 100, the white man has paid meaning the white man has colonized this earth about 3 times and still doing it. They gentrifying your neighborhood as we speak. So what I mean is, when you paid the cost, you can make the rules. Not to say that it's right, but when you make the rules, you can bend them.
The reason why they're so into this whole tyrant slavery mentality is because of the getting over mentality.
Yeah, that's
it's because they want to get over. This man wants to get over on this 18-year-old woman. She don't even know herself, and she's going to outgrow him. Most of them do.
Maybe she, was in a desperate situation. Maybe, me personally, I would like to hear the backstory on this whole situation with this 63-year-old pastor and this 18-year-old girl. But if I had to guess, This young woman does not have a father in her life. If I had to guess, if we was taking bets right now, I'm putting all my money that she doesn't. Obviously, she got a father, but he's not there. You know what I mean? I couldn't imagine, especially in 2022, this ain't The Color Purple, dog, where, you know, Harpo can go up in the house and choose the daughter he want. No, he didn't get the daughter that he wanted. He ended up with Whoopi and abused her. Like, remember on The Color Purple? And so the girl Suge on The Color Purple, she was talking to Whoopi Goldberg's character. And, like, Whoopi had to tell her, like, he abuses me and treat me wrong because I'm not you.
Damn.
Like, that was a crazy movie, dog. For real, The Color Purple, man. Like, remember when Whoopi Goldberg said on the movie The Color Purple, when Harpo having sex with her, it feel like he's using the bathroom. Like, we need to do a movie review one day.
Damn.
It's a long movie, but we need to go over The Color Purple because it's a lot of ill scenes. It's a lot of funny scenes, too. But at the end of the day, he grabbed Whoopi Goldberg out the house. But that was back in the day where dudes was doing that in the South where they didn't have no money, so they would give their daughters to the highest bidder. That was like almost protocol in some places, man. I'm not saying that is right, but that was acceptable for that time.
Right.
And this is one of the reasons a lot of women got into feminism.
Right.
And I can't blame women when it comes to stuff like that. Yo, man, if you are giving away by like your father or your parents to some dude just because he got money, how you think that girl was treated? I mean, honestly, like a damn slave.
Poorly.
The slave that she is.
Poorly.
Basically, that was slavery. Farrakhan said this back in the 80s. Because the black man has been oppressed. He wants to be the oppressor now. I didn't say this. The minister said it. And boy, was he right. But back to what I was saying, I can't blame women that been through situations like that, like on some Color Purple stuff, or giving away back in the day, you know, the 40s, the 30s, like even maybe, you know, the 50s. They went to the highest bidder, or this guy came from a good family, they got money and resources, so you can come in my house and choose with daughter. I can't blame young girls for getting into feminism. I'm like, yo, man, they went too far with the feminism, but I understand, like, I ain't got no choice in who I date or marry.
Everybody has a right to choose who they want to be sexual with. Like, that's like human basic rights.
But see, a lot of people don't understand every part of feminism wasn't bad. A lot of people don't know feminism started from the temperance movement back in the late 1800s. And what was going on was a lot of white men was out of work back in the day, right? You know what I mean? And what was going on, they was getting drunk a lot during the day because they was depressed. You know, a man can't take care of his family, can't provide. It makes you angry, it makes you upset. And they would drink a lot. They would drink all day, and they would come home and beat their wives and do worse things to their wives and children. So they started the temperance movement to try to stop this or mitigate that. And that's where feminism started, you know what I mean, from all the reports that I've read. So feminism actually came from a righteous place. Like dudes, you know, back in the day, you could put your hands on your wife. That was protocol.
And or her.
Oh yeah, it wasn't no such thing.
And grape.
You know what I mean? As taking it from your wife. So at the end of the day, feminism came from a righteous place.
Right.
But what it morphed into, it got a little crazy, got a little out of hand. And women wasn't even allowed to vote. That's taxation without representation. How can women pay taxes but they can't vote? So there's aspects of feminism that I do agree with. Women should be allowed to vote. Are you serious? If they can work, if they can pay taxes, when this country went to war, World War II, they called women up to help work in factories. And this is how women got into the workforce. Because a lot of the men was out fighting the war or helping the war efforts. You know what I mean? So women were called up to work. It just was what it was. So what I'm saying is, there's some aspects of the feminism movement that I do agree with. Because just as a human being, regardless of gender, if somebody was to walk into the room, some dirty old man with bad teeth and a sleep foot was to walk into the room just because he got a little bit of money, he say something crazy like, yeah, I want you. And I got to go with him and be his wife? Oh no, I'm marching. I'm getting my Dr. King. I'm getting my Malcolm X on.
Right.
But let's keep it real. Like, don't nobody want to live like that, man. Don't nobody want to sleep with you savages, man.
Right.
You guys are savages, man. You guys are dirty savages. A lot of you dudes is dirty savages, man. I seen a post on Instagram. Shout out to my boy Frank. Shout out to V from the Man Cave. He had put up like a tweet or something like that. He put up a message that a woman had wrote on social media. And let me get to this dickhead up in the chat. For real. We're not going to block him. I'm going to go in on him. Man, he put up a message from a woman, and she was like, a lot of men don't understand how many women have sex with them out of fear, or pretty much with the mentality like, if I just get it over with, you know, he'll just leave. And I'm like, man, you know, I can't say that it ever happened to me, because I don't force myself on a woman, but I did grow up in a culture where dudes didn't understand no mean no. I'm gonna be honest. Not to say that we just gotta call it what it is. You know what I'm saying? A lot of dudes, maybe they didn't force themselves on girls, but there was something in the mist, in the air, like, you probably should sleep with me or else there's going to be some kind of consequence. You don't have to say it out your mouth if the energy is permeating the space. You know what I mean? And I did grow up in that culture where dudes would get girls drunk and one dude to sleep with her, he'll get up, his friend to sneak in the room. I grew up in a culture where dudes was videotaping girls without them knowing. And you know, everybody in the neighborhood seeing it. I grew up in that era where
they still do that.
Gangbangs was prominent. I grew up in the era where, you know, it was just a lot of grimy stuff going on. I'm just keeping it a buck. I did grow up in that era. You know what I mean? I wasn't a participant in like a lot of that stuff because I didn't have to. Like, I never thought that was a player thing to do, was to make a woman do something she didn't want to do. Any woman I ever slept with, it was mutual. It was reciprocal. Or we had an understanding. You know what I mean? Like, even, you know, I'm not going to get all into the details, but a lot of dudes, man, they actually think that that's a real thing, man. I'm like, man, y'all don't even understand that y'all not players, man. Like, y'all really clowns. You know what I mean? That's just how I feel about it.
They're really disgusting. That's what it is. Like, they're really disgusting.
You dig? But yeah, that's like the era, and we're gonna be honest, that I grew up in. You know what I mean? Where dudes was really grimy, man. You know what I mean? I grew up in Baltimore. I grew up around some decent dudes. I grew up around some grimy cats, man. Especially when it came to the young girls. Real grimy niggas, man. They didn't care. You know what I mean? I know dudes that did some truly grimy stuff, and that's not the type of company I keep. I just leave it like that. You know what I'm saying? Honestly. And but when you living in the culture at the time, you think it's normal. It becomes normalized, and we become desensitized to it. But when you step back for a second and you mature, just as an adult, you're like, yo, man, what was I thinking? Like, what was people thinking? Like, where was the mentality? And then we wonder why, you know, 20 years later, a lot of these girls, they hate men. They don't like men. They got attitudes towards men. Some of this stuff do stem from somewhere. And I don't expect dudes to take accountability. I don't want these guys to take accountability. Because I'm going to step on their neck for the next month and a half. I don't give a damn. You know what I mean? Ain't nobody going to do nothing to me, man. You know what I'm saying? I hold everybody accountable for they part in the effery, man. But yeah, some of this stuff was out of hand when I think about it as a young dude, as a young man. You know what I'm saying? I knew a lot of dudes that would get girls drunk knowing they couldn't handle their liquor. And I'll be honest, the girl ain't had no business drinking. But still, as a man, you got to be responsible. As a man, anybody that's in your vicinity, anybody that's in your domain, you know what I mean, you got responsibility over. I feel like that. If I walk into a store and a fire break out, well, it's my duty to get the old lady out of there. It's my duty to get the children out of there. It's all the men's duty to do that. That's that's my mentality. If I see a car accident and I'm driving by, it's my duty to go help my neighbor, especially if it's like, you know, a child or like an elderly. You know what I mean? In a community, you're supposed to protect certain aspects of your community with your life as a man. I know we don't do that because obviously black men don't care. But I'm just gonna be honest, man. That's my. We was driving on the highway the other day, and I don't think you peeped it. It was two girls on the side of the road. I guess they had a flat tire. I don't know. It was two girls on the side of the road, and they was hanging out outside the car. I'm sure they didn't know what they was doing if the car was broken down. And sure enough, man, it was some white dude in a pickup truck pulled right over. Shoop. Pulled over on the side, backed up. He had a big old truck, like he had some tools in it. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, them dudes be knowing how to fix your carburetor on site.
Yeah.
They know how to change your timing belt on site. They just keep extra stuff in the truck. And I was like, wow, that was real noble, man. And, you know, I know it ain't safe to be pulling over and helping people because the world is crazy, but at the end of the day, that's a community. And we was driving through, you know, one of them small little decent one-horse towns. So you can kind of understand they still got certain values. They real conservative and stuff like that. You know, Texas is a red state anyway. Mm-hmm. But I thought that was real noble what I do, man. You know what I'm saying? I was like, wow, you know, it still exists. Like a lot of black men be on some shit like, I ain't pulling over unless you give me some head.
And you know, there's something that's in us as women. Like if a man saved our life, or we like almost instantly like him. So that's like something that if men are looking for some
some ton,
then that's like the fastest way to do it.
Yeah,
it's a natural thing for us to kind of like fall in love. That's why you see it in movies all the time. Like, oh my God, he saved my life. I owe him some vagina.
Well, black men like to destroy women. Let's keep it real. Black men like to destroy women. That's the motto. You know what I mean? Break them.
And I
break
think,
them. Make them. Go ahead.
Sorry, you said break them what?
No, go ahead.
I think it shows. I don't think black men like themselves. Because if they don't like themselves, they don't like what comes out of them. They don't like the community. They don't care. I don't think they care.
A major part of black men, I mean, it's a significant amount of black men that truly can't stand women. Black women in particular, but women in general, that's the mentality. How can I break them? Make them into a ride or die. You know, some dudes don't even feel a woman is worthy of marriage until she like hold the gun when they get pulled over by the cops, or do some time for this dude, or you know what I mean, have like 3 of his kids or something like that. A lot of black men, you know, they play the loyalty games. You know what I mean? You seen the movie Reindeer Games or whatever the case. A lot of black men play the loyalty games. All right, like, let me see how loyal she gonna be. And to a certain point, I understand. But damn, yo, man, some of this stuff be crazy. Like, the girl gotta do time for you, dog. I mean, what? It's almost like insanity to me to even think about it. And then they turn around and say she not feminine. Like, damn, you made the girl hold the gun for you. You made the girl put 2 8-balls in her pocketbook, man. And we gonna act like this stuff ain't happening. This stuff do happen. It happen every day. Or dudes that make the girl go buy a car for
move her in, live with her for 5 years.
Mess up her credit. You know what I mean? Don't help build the credit. Fuck up her credit. You know what I mean? Stuff like that. You know what I mean? She done got all kind of credit cards in her name, or she done use her tax money to fund his mixtape. You know what I mean? Not even nothing that's profitable.
Y'all better learn how to negotiate, because if y'all don't, you signing up 12 years a slave? That's what you said?
15 years a slave with these niggas.
You really doing that, and then you're going to become resentful, bitter, and just effed up.
Facts. I'm going to be honest, man. You know what I mean? Over the weekend, man, I heard some black women talking about, you know, dating white men. They was openly having a conversation like, you know, I wouldn't mind dating a white dude. And whether I agree or not don't matter. I'm like, okay, you know, I can see why at this point. Because dating a Negro male in 2022, honestly, you don't know what you're going to get. You know what I'm saying? Like, the dude probably lying about being married. You know what I mean? He might be hyper violent. You dig? You just never know. You know what I mean? And not to say that a white guy's better, but expanding your options ain't always a bad thing. I'm just going to be honest, man. You know what I mean? Because I see the grimy stuff a lot of dudes be doing, man. And if you got an upperly mobile kind of woman and she want to be respected as a woman, then probably got to do what you got to do at some point. You know what I mean? I mean, think about girls like Serena Williams. All of these black rappers and athletes she dated, they ain't married her. Mm-hmm. They was too busy talking about how big her ass is. Let's keep it real. Mm-hmm. They was too busy talking about her body. And then a white dude came and actually married her. You can't get mad.
Honored her.
You know what I'm saying? You can't get mad at that.
But if you're not an honorable man, how you going to expect to honor a woman by marrying her? So it all goes back to what type of man you are.
I mean, it is what it is. We got to keep it a whole brick, man. You know what I mean? All of these dudes that dated Serena Williams, all these guys, you know what I mean? And I'm pretty sure they had the opportunity to propose. At least propose.
Yeah, they did have their chance.
They was too busy talking about how big her ass is. This is the black man protocol. You know what I mean? Honestly, that's the black man protocol.
And that's why us as women, we're going to get cosmetic surgery, turning ourselves into looking like sex dolls because of the hypersexualized man. You know? And look, go to Atlanta. Go to the airport in Atlanta. You'll see what I'm talking about. It's so sad.
Well, I can't put all that on black men, but
no, it is. It's on them. If they wasn't so hypersexual, women will not be getting oversized body parts to try to appease them.
I don't know. I'm not a woman. I can't answer that. But at the end of the day, yo, man, this stuff is wild, dog. You know what I'm saying? If you look at, like a lot of chicks that be dating white dudes, man, you know what I mean? A lot of black dudes had an opportunity to marry them, and they didn't. You know what I mean? They was too busy talking about how big their ass is or whatever. So you can't truly get mad. I'm just being 100. If we going, you know, just rock out like that, you can't get upset. If the girl been dating black dudes her whole life, ain't none of them even proposed. Mm-hmm. But you gonna call her a bed wench when a white dude proposed? What about all these rappers and athletes, dudes with money and this and that? Did they get down on one knee and propose? No,
that's
they didn't.
Dead. Yeah, that's dead.
You know what I mean? Black men are delusional. Black men are delusional. I mean, honestly, man, King's disease times 100. So when I hear black women openly talking about dating white men, I don't have to agree. That's none of my business. I can say, you know what, I kind of understand at this point. Black men don't believe in commitment, man. Let's keep it real. Black men want to use his penis until he's 75 and get married, like this pastor.
Isn't a large part of manhood commitment?
If you ain't committed to anything, you're distracted by everything.
Say that again.
If you're not committed to anything, you're distracted by everything.
Isn't a large part of manhood controlling yourself?
That's why black men can't build nothing, because we're distracted by everything. For real. Black men can't build a damn thing. When you're not committed to anything, you're distracted by everything. That's why black men don't have shit.
That's why when you said the last comment on what you want to know, the 3 things you wanted to know, being a man of your word, that's all about commitment. Committing to your word. But if you can't do that, then
indeed. I don't even know what to say no more, man. You know what I'm saying? I think that this Negro male is a lost cause. Personally. I think, you know, at least 30% of black men are done. They're a lost cause. They finished. Get them out of here. You got to clip them off. You got to cut it out like cancer.
And like you said, they dragging us right along with them.
Man, look. I say at least 30% of Negro males are grimy as a motherfucker. I don't give a damn what messages they put on my inbox on Instagram. I'm just going to block your bitch ass. 30% of black men are grimy as hell. Period. Grimy than a motherfucker. Straight up. I could probably go 40%, but I don't even want to overdo it. I'm going to give these guys a conservative 30%. Grimy as a motherfucker.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm talking about grimy, man. I'm talking about grimy of the grimiest, man.
About 1/3, y'all. It's 33%.
Straight up. I'm talking about grimy, man. You know what I mean? So, I'm just gonna be 100, man. I'm not here to hold no punches, man. You know what I mean? You gotta hold this Negro male accountable. Black men ain't got nothing. Look at our communities. We ain't got no communities.
Look at Africa.
The little bit of communities you Negroes got, they come through and gentrified. The little bit of stuff black men got, they come through and take it over, because black men ain't committed to nothing. We distracted by everything. You know what I'm saying? Black men don't care. Black men don't take no pride. Black man see trash in the street, he won't pick it up. He gonna throw more trash in the street. Black men wake up and think, how can I hurt another black man? Black man can't get pussy off his mind. Black men don't want nothing. Because if we wanted something, we'll be out here trying to have some things. Black men can't work together. Too much ego. The worst unit I had in the military was an all-black chain of command. That was my worst time in the Army. I ain't gonna lie. When I worked under a white command, man, I used to love to go to work, man, when I was in the military, man. Honestly. The worst time in the military was under, I could not stand these niggas, man. Because they had King's disease. It wasn't about empowering nobody. They was empowering themselves.
Oh,
but when I was under the white command, they used to empower the leaders under them. Honestly.
Yeah. They say power and control is all about ego, right? And love and understanding is about care.
Oh, black men got egos way too big for our britches. I'm trying to tell you, man. The worst chain of command I had in the military, I was with 4th Brigade, 1st Armored Division, Command Sergeant Major Mustafa, and, you know, all the rest of them knuckleheads, man. You know what I mean? That was the worst command I ever had, dog. All black. Colonel, Sergeant Major, XO. Everybody was all black, 1st Sergeant. Everybody, man. And it was the worst time I had. And I already knew what it was. I'm like, you dudes are power hungry, greedy, egotistical. Tyrants don't know how to empower anybody, want to micromanage, want to control people till there's nothing left. And I didn't have that problem with my white chain of command. They knew how to. They wasn't on it like that. Not to say that they didn't have no problems, but they wasn't on it like that. It wasn't the flex. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't the big ego contest. It was like, all right, white chain of command. When you was wrong, they gave you the consequences. That was it. Black chain of command. They got to embarrass you. It was a mess, man. They got to jack it up. They got to demean you, chew you down to nothing. You know what I'm saying? It was all about how can I, boost up my profile. You know what I'm saying? They wasn't down with the empowerment, man. And that was the worst time I had in the military, man. I didn't even truly feel safe with them when I was in Iraq. But when I was with the white chain of command, this is a true story. When I was with the white chain of command, it just was a lot better, man. I felt a lot more safe, dog. I'm just going to be 100. Because when you empower your leaders under you, when you know how to delegate duties, when everything ain't got to be on you, when you don't want to take all the credit, when you can let your underlings take the credit, all you doing is making your job a lot easier. Now you got soldiers that'll run through a brick wall for you because you empowered them. You know what I'm saying? You made them feel like they can do anything. But when you want to take all the credit, when you want to micromanage everything, when you want to talk to people any kind of way, when you don't know how to empower the people up under you, man, when people realize you just don't care, they're not going to want to work for you. They're not going to want to protect you. They're not going to want to perform their duties to the standard. They're just going to give minimal effort because they don't feel like they cared about, man. People know when you care. You don't even have to say it. They can tell by your actions, your energy. You know what I'm saying? Like, they know when you're like, you know what? I care about my unit. I care about my soldiers. You ain't got to know them personally, but you care. You got love in your heart. People recognize it. It ain't about the ego. Mm-hmm. That's just how I feel about it, man. So,
and if they could treat the men like that, imagine what they're doing to the women. You know, it reminds me of that movie, Dead Presidents. You remember when he bet, I think it was Terrence Howard, bet with that guy, and he was playing pool, and he won, but he didn't want to pay him, so he started fighting him. And that's what you're doing to another man. Imagine what you're doing to women.
Yo, I had a sergeant major. We had this little event when I was in the military. I had a sergeant major, and he was a little horn dog, black sergeant major. I couldn't stand this nigga, man. I mean, toward the end, he wasn't that bad. I couldn't stand this nigga. I had a black sergeant major, and anyway, we had this little event for the battalion, and he brought his wife. I felt so bad for his wife because he was trying to screw all the soldiers in the battalion and all of that, and everybody knew. It was never no secret. And then, he brought his wife to the event, and the way he introduced his wife to like some soldiers, he was like, yeah, like that's my wife. He said it real quick. And I ain't gonna lie, she wasn't like, like a looker. She was just looked like a plain housewife type of woman that, she looked like she don't really get out much. You know what I mean? I doubt it.
Did she look like, what's that guy name? He was cheating on his wife, the YouTuber.
I don't know.
Derek Jackson. Did she look like that?
I mean, she was older. That's probably what Derek Jackson's wife gonna look like when she get 50.
Oh,
but
okay.
At the end of the day, he was like, yeah, like that's my wife. He ain't say her name. Like he breezed past it real quick, and I felt so bad for this lady, man, because he ain't even represent his wife well. He didn't even, introduce her with any kind of class and dignity, man. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, yo, man. I mean, what can you do? What truly can you do, man? He paid the bills. He got the money. He the sergeant major. She the housewife. Basically, unless she leaves, she's stuck. He probably go home some nights, might sleep with her, might not sleep with her, might talk to her any kind of way. But if you can introduce your wife like that, it was very dismissive. He was like, yeah, like he ain't say her name. And she just was looking like
heartbroken.
Just very meek to life, just lifeless, man. She was just looking like she was just going through the motions. Like she couldn't wait to go home and just relax. I'm like, man, these niggas is crazy, man. But anyway, we're going to start to wrap this up. I just wanted to chop it up because my question for everybody that's watching the podcast, how young is too young? How young is too young? And that's a question that we got to explore. I think some of this stuff is a little out of hand. Mm-hmm. I never was down with the dating a young girls type of thing. I never spoke about it. That's not my thing. And I have my reasons. That was a time that I tried to date a little younger than me. I might have been like 29, trying to mess with a girl that was 21. Mm-hmm. And I realized they mind ain't ready. You ever go out to eat to the Olive Garden or something with a girl, her mind ain't right? And it's very irritating. Mm-hmm. She's sitting there taking pictures of the food, trying to put it on Instagram, just doing too much, man. And I'm like, you know, I got a little bit of etiquette. I'm a hood nigga, but I got a little bit of etiquette. So, you know, I try to make my rounds dealing with the young chicks, man. And I realized, you know what, Boogie, that ain't really your lane. And it's nothing that I'm ashamed of. I had to keep it real with myself because I get very irritated with stupid stuff. I like order. I like structure. I like things to be in place when I show up, or I'm going to put it in place. Like, I'm not going to sit around and play. Like, I don't have the patience to deal. I'm 34. Me personally, I ain't got the patience to deal with a 19, 20-year-old girl. I don't. For one, I got a 10-year-old daughter. She'll be looking at me crazy. You know what I'm saying? Like that.
She will call you out.
I got my daughter be 11 years old. She'll be like, Dad, what you doing? You playing yourself.
Yes.
She'll tell me straight up, dog, you playing yourself. But like the point is, I realized that ain't my lane, dog. That's just not my lane. I get agitated, man. I want stuff to be very specific. I need a woman with her mind right, or else I can't function. And when I can't function, things don't go right, man. You know what I mean? Anybody that know me know I like order. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And I know some dudes might disagree. They be into grooming their girls. Look, man, that's y'all thing. It's just not. It's not for the Bugmeister, man. I've been out here, man. You know what I mean? I done been on dates with these young chicks, man. I done talked to them. I done had them in my car. I know what's up. I know they mind ain't right. And the way that I roll, ain't nothing moving until we establish some order. Period. So, you know, I just do myself the favor of just staying in my lane. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to be a woman's daddy because I am daddy. I'm zaddy, nigga. No, real talk. Like I'm not, you know, I'm not trying to be a woman's father. Now, you know, it's one thing to be daddy, you know, in the bedroom, but honestly, I'm not trying to be nobody's like father, surrogate father. You know what I mean? Like, that's not really my thing. Like, I'm into treating people like adults. I'm into having adult conversations, mano a mano, eye to eye. I'm into understanding. I'm into getting to know each other. I'm into, okay, how can we build off each other? How can we pour into each other? 18, 19, 20, 21-year-old girl, at this point in my mentality, can't pour nothing into me. So a lot of dudes be trying to figure out why they drain. You know how people say, oh, you know, this girl drained me. Because if all you doing is pouring into other people, if that's all you doing all day is pouring into this girl, after some time, she's going to become an irritant to you because she's not pouring back into you. You know what I mean? Then you got to go elsewhere and other places to get poured into, strip clubs, prostitutes, other women, stuff like that. And a lot of dudes truly don't understand why they're not satisfied in relationships, or this is men or women, because all you doing is pouring into somebody else. If it ain't reciprocal, you will be drained, and you ain't gonna have nothing else to give, and you're gonna start to really hate life because, you know, you feel like you're getting the short end of the stick. Everybody need a certain amount of their needs met. You might not get every want met. That's kind of hard to do unless you're dating multiple people, but your needs, that has to be met. If you're not getting your needs met in a relationship, whatever that is, you're going to have a very tough time, you know, facing the reality with that person. You know what I mean? Because you're going to be longing for something else. And that's your duty. That's your responsibility in a relationship, is to satisfy your partner. You know what I mean? They can't satisfy themselves. A lot of people don't understand relationships are work. You know what I mean? That's why they say the labor of love at the end of the day.
Love and sacrifice. You can't, it go hand in hand. Love, understanding, and love and sacrifice.
You have to forgive. I mean, all of the good stuff. You have to do your job to make your relationship work. Is every day going to be a good day? No. But you got to put things in place to have more good days than bad days. And you got to put the work in on yourself constantly. And you got to do the maintenance work on your relationship. And you got to work on your partner. You know what I mean? Whatever it is you feel they need, you got to supply that. Whatever it is. It could be flowers for no reason. It could be just listening. It could be just whatever. I don't know. Our relationships are different, but if you see that your partner is not being satisfied, then you ain't doing your job. A person not going to satisfy themselves. A person not going to secure themselves. It's your job to make your partner feel secure.
And don't forget to ask that question, what do I need to do to make you feel that way too?
So that's really all I got to say about this stuff today, ladies and gentlemen. It's the Nerve of You podcast, man. We're going to get to wrapping it up.
Bye.
Shout out to the co-host, man. We just chopped it up today. We actually going to be right back with y'all tomorrow, man. We're going to knock out some joints this week, but we got some good topics coming at y'all, man. So ask yourself that question, ladies and gentlemen. How young is too young? You know what I mean? Is dudes pimps, players, predators, pastors? I don't even know at this point. They say they peas, but I don't really see it, man. Some of this stuff is odd to me, the optics alone. And I know some of y'all are going to be like, oh, Boogie, mind your business. You a hater. All right, fair enough. I am a hater. I can't stand y'all. But anyway, shout out to the supporters, man. Shout out to everybody, man. Like the video. Subscribe to the channel, man. If you like the podcast, share it. Follow me on Instagram, @CBoogieProductions. I'm out, man.